Well, hello. And we are sorry to be fashionably late, Haas, would you say?
Yeah, fashionably late, I think, is the right way to say it.
Okay. So your screen may look a little differently tonight because Greg's missing. And those were the technical issues we were having. So I'm so sorry. I had to start the whole thing myself. But luckily, we have Haas here to help us get the show going.
I'm a poor substitute for Greg when it comes to the technical aspects, but a good substitute when it comes to the technical aspects of football.
I love that. You totally are. So I was noticing people were showing up about 20 minutes before the show even was supposed to start. And we're starting, let's see, about 12 minutes late. Greg will be here later, he says. But they were talking about this whole thing with Malachi Coleman and kind of the rumors that have been flying around about him possibly entering the transfer portal when it opens. So let me see if I have some comments already. Yeah, I do. I'll show this one from Living in Omaha, David Matney. He says, I really like Coach Rhule, but is he going to turn this thing around, or do I need to be patient?
I think we all need to be patient. Largely, I'm going to lead off first with the financial numbers. The buyout is pretty high all the way up until 2030. But beyond that, I think we're just at a point where stability is probably a good thing for the program. I'm not going to patronize anybody and, say, hey, this is the guy, just believe in him, get in line. I think it's good to question whether or not he's going to be able to get it done because through the first, 22 games of the Rhule era, largely we haven't seen a lot of improvement. You could even make a case that maybe 2023 was a better top to bottom team than 2024, but you really just got to kind of hang in there. We didn't fall to these levels overnight from 2016 to now, and digging out of it's probably not going to be an overnight success either. I know it's hard when Indiana and Curt Cignetti take over and they go 10-0, but that's a staff that was around with each other for a long time at James Madison. And right now, Nebraska football is a little bit more of a tougher job than Indiana is. Nebraska's like feeding the monster, as Barry Switzer references in his book. And a lot of programs are like that, whether it's Oklahoma, Ohio State, or Nebraska. So be patient. I think that if this was year 4 and we were sitting here at 5-5 on November 21st, we'd be having a different conversation. But for now, let's just hope that these next 2 games bring us what we're looking for.
Wes, you put that so well. And
It's
honestly,
just right off the dome.
I just think that you have such a calming presence on the 5 Heart chat right now. We needed to hear that because I feel like people were grabbing their pitchforks. Am I right, David Matney? We're ready to go lynch somebody. We're upset. We don't know, what's going on, why we didn't win at USC, and why does it look like everything's falling apart? No. But it's not, right?
Yeah, it's not. I know it's easy to look at it and say, hey, we were 5-1, and now we're sitting at 5-5. 30 some days ago, we were 5-1. And it's easy to look at last year and think, hey, we're 5-7. We had all these losses by 3 points. Next year, the big jump comes. Growth and development aren't always linear. It's, a lot of peaks and valleys as you're trying to get better. And I think a big thing that was lost on a lot of people, myself included, was last year we played a lot of offenses that were very bland in their offensive schemes. Rhule mentioned this on Monday as well. We played teams that were inside zone. They ran a couple RPOs. They ran a couple drop back passing concepts. Michigan might have been the most exotic in terms of what we saw last year. And that really isn't saying much because they're just a power and counter and inside zone team. But this year, with the addition of, Ohio State or on our schedule, and then UCLA, USC, and then what Indiana's doing under Cignetti, we saw a lot more complicated offensive schemes. And so that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to defend. And then in the secondary, where those complicated schemes are really kind of exploiting the lack of athleticism we have at a few spots in the secondary.
Um, that makes sense, actually. So I have a chat here from Bruce Davis, and this is what I've been hearing a lot of this week. So I kind of just want you to talk specifically to this comment. He says we're stuck with Rhule right now. I never liked Rhule, and I don't see him turning us around. Sorry, but I'm sick of losing. I mean, I think that echoes a lot of sentiments in Husker Nation.
I feel that too. I'm sick of losing. I'm going to Iowa City next week for the Nebraska-Iowa game. I'm going to freeze my ass off in 22-degree weather in Kinnick at night. And the week of Thanksgiving, just a little backstory into my life. The week of Thanksgiving is my favorite week of the year. My birthday is the week of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. You know, everything is packed into that week. I absolutely love it. I got college football, family, food, a lot of Coors banquets, you know, everything's great. Over the past 10 years of my life, there haven't been very many happy Thanksgiving weekends because we keep losing to Iowa, except for 2022. And so I'm right there with you, Bruce. I'm sick of losing as well. The one thing that I'll say, you know, you said we're stuck with Rhule. You never liked Rhule. I think I've said it on, you know, the podcast as well, whether it's this one or the Overreaction podcast, and Greg can attest to this. I was not on board with hiring Scott Frost. He was not who I wanted to hire in 2017. Oh. I wanted to hire Gary Patterson. At the time that the Frost talk really warmed up that fall, TCU was ranked second in the country under Patterson that year. Patterson had been considered for the job in 2007. We gave it to Pelini. That was who I wanted. That being said, Nebraska could go out and hire Kermit the Frog as head coach. And I'm still, as much as I don't like that hire, I'm going to get behind it. I'm going to support the program until I have reason not to, just like I did with Frost. I didn't like the hire, but I came around to it, you know, and got on board with it. Also, Diamond Dave mentioned Lane Kiffin wanted to come. Huge Lane Kiffin guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Native Nebraskan Lane Kiffin.
And, you know, I know the reason why he wasn't really looked at for Nebraska. He doesn't exactly fit into our mold of what.
He's more of a Steve Spurrier type personality.
Yeah. He's kind of, you know, dating the younger girlfriend and, you know, all the other stuff that goes along with his wild life. We don't really want to see that in our news. So, but I would love to see, you know, Lane Kiffin come to Nebraska one day.
You win football games, do whatever you want.
Yeah. So Fred Sacco says, don't go to Kinnick. Sweet piece of meat like you won't last 5 minutes with those mongoloids.
I've been there twice. The first time I watched us get beat 40-10. The second time I watched Trey Palmer absolutely torch them. So I'm 1-1 in Kinnick.
Is Kate going with you?
She is not. She is not.
Oh,
so
bummer.
I'm going with 3 of my friends. One of them I've been friends with since we played 8th grade football together way back in 2004. And then his wife is an Iowa fan. That might be her only personality flaw. And then my friend's brother is also going with us. So 3 Huskers.
That sounds fun. Fan. That does sound fun. And when's your birthday, Haas?
Tuesday.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Yay. Are you going to be 21?
Nope, 34.
You don't look a day over 21.
You know, it was 21 the last time we beat Wisconsin.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's
oh, no.
I thought of that earlier this week. I was like, okay. Like, that really puts it into perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So Carl Pence says 10-12 in first 22 games is a dumpster fire.
It is. And I think the big thing, especially with that, is that stat about that we have not won a game under Rhule when the defense has given up more than 14 points. And when you look at, so that stat standing out in isolation, you can point to Colorado last year, Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin. And then you got all the different games where Minnesota last year, Maryland, Iowa, those games where we held teams to 13 points. And, if we're not beating teams when we're giving up more than 14, we're really not beating teams when we're giving up less than 14 either. Like, it is a dumpster fire. Through 22 games, it is, by all accounts, just looking, if you were to look from the outside in, it's an abject failure. But when you really look at the pieces in place, when you look at what has kind of been the effect on the Rhule regime, Marcus Satterfield was not his first choice as offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's really been widely reported, but Jake Peets of the Los Angeles Rams was his first choice. He backed out at the 11th hour because Sean McVay didn't retire. And so we were left with Satterfield. So from there, you could see from that Minnesota game early on in 2023 that offense was not conducive to being successful in the Big Ten. It was kind of a weird mesh, a quarterback run game with Satterfield's pro-style offense. And so when you look at it, this is a good time to adjust. I think that if we could get to 12-12 in the first 24 games by next week, next Friday, and go to a bowl and win a bowl and finish 8-5, I think we'll all be feeling a lot better about things.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I feel like Dana Holgorsen coming here to help us get there is probably the best move at this time.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having head coaches on your staff as coordinators. I remember when Frost did get hired, I thought, okay, as long as he doesn't bring Eric Chenander with him. What I really wanted to see Frost do is I wanted him to go hire a veteran defensive coordinator, because he was always going to call his own plays offensively. I was wanting him to go hire a veteran defensive coordinator, maybe somebody who had even been a head coach at one point. It's somebody that he can lean on for advice and counsel as he's navigating different situations. And instead, he brought in somebody that's even younger and more inexperienced than him. And we just, they weren't ready for the Big Ten. And so bringing in Dana Holgorsen is like Ohio State bringing in Chip Kelly. And I think that when this year gets over, and it doesn't matter if we finish 8-5 by January 1st or we're 5-7 still by January 1st, I think you're going to see a purging of the offensive staff. I think you're going to see Dana Holgorsen bring in his own guys. I think some names to keep an eye on would be like Jake Spavital, who's the offensive coordinator at Baylor right now under Dave Aranda. He was Holgorsen's quarterbacks coach at West Virginia. I think you should also pay attention to Bob Stitt. Some of you guys might remember he was the head coach at the University of Montana, and he was the one that gave Holgorsen the idea for the jet sweep against Clemson in the 2012 Orange Bowl when they hung 70 on Clemson. And that's a guy that – is that Greg?
Gosh. What are we going to do with him?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nebraska fans of all ages.
Gosh.
You really interrupted during some good coaching talk.
Yeah. And you're late. You just show up whenever the heck you want, and then you start just playing music as your intro. Who do you think you are?
Greg the Snail Fart Valentine.
Aw. That was actually really good music. That was supposed to be your music, Haas. Haas is our special guest.
Yep.
If you guys haven't noticed, but Greg kind of messed it up.
Hi, everybody. Let's put me in my rightful position here.
Oh,
it's good to see you all.
All right. Well, now that you're here.
How's everybody?
I mean, we're doing pretty well.
I've been watching the show the whole time. You guys have been doing great. You don't really even need me. I'll just jump out and join the Chatterfields tonight.
No. You're
I don't think so.
around.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
So did you happen to talk to Haas about our little thing called the 5 Heart Theater?
I heard something about it last week. I'm not all that familiar with it.
What did you hear exactly?
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
That you got, I don't know. Like, there's some words that come to mind. This is a family show, so I'm not going to say them.
Oh my goodness.
Since when is this a family show?
It's always been a family show, except when back in the day when it was audio only and we dropped F-bombs constantly. I mean, it definitely would have been a family show if people would have been able to see the size of the dip of Copenhagen I had in all the time.
It was a different world.
All right. Well, did you want to finish your thought before Greg interrupted you?
Yeah, I think I was talking about Dana Holgorsen, but I kind of lost my train of thought there. I was
No, you were talking about other people that we could look at.
Yeah, I think you will see a staff purge. Jake Spavital, who was his offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at West Virginia, is at Baylor under Aranda. That staff is probably being fired at the end of the year. And then Bob Stitt, who was at the University of Montana and at Colorado School of the Mines, who gave Holgorsen the idea for the jet sweep against Clemson in the 2012 Orange Bowl when they scored 70 points. That's a guy that's actually a native Nebraskan. He's from Tecumseh, Nebraska originally. I think last I knew he was an analyst at Oklahoma State. So that's somebody that I could probably see being on staff with Dana. And then Bill Bedenbaugh at Oklahoma. You don't know what's going to happen with OU staff. I know that Castiglione gave Venables the dreaded vote of confidence, but Bedenbaugh was a very elite offensive line coach at West Virginia under Holgorsen. I'm not totally, jumping off board with Donovan Raiola as the offensive line coach, but I think that you have to give an offensive coordinator full license to hire who he wants to work with, who speaks the same language as him. And as living in Omaha, David Matney said, I hope Holgorsen hires someone over the age of 14 for our wide receivers coach. Yes. That's something that I was actually just speaking with somebody about tonight. I think that I like Garrett McGuire. I think he could be a really good football coach. I think right now a more veteran presence is needed in the room.
That's a very PC way to put it.
Hey, you got Ron Brown on staff, and Ron Brown he might be one of the best position coaches in the history of college football. And so I think that's a guy that, he should probably have had more of a role with that receiver room this year.
The only thing that I question about McGuire, because he's so young, imagine him sitting in a potential recruit's living room and talking to, the parents of that recruit. He's younger than the parents. I mean, how do you trust your kid with somebody who's younger than you?
Well, when I went back to school for my undergrad, I was 29 when I finished my bachelor's because I went back when I was 25. And it didn't matter who the professor was. I showed them the respect they deserved as being the leader in that classroom. But my last year of undergrad, I had a professor who was about a year younger than me. And it was no problem on my part. It was like, okay, go to class, complete all the work, participate in discussions. Like, that's who they are. They're the leader in this room. It was an issue from their perspective towards me. It was an insecurity issue that they had towards me. And so I think that sometimes it can work that direction where I'm not trying to project and talk about, the psychological mindset, state of mind of Garrett McGuire. But sometimes at that young of an age, I mean, at 24, your prefrontal cortex isn't even fully developed quite yet.
That's right.
I think that there are some, maybe issues with really being in full command and being confident in yourself as the leader.
He just left.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Thank you.
I didn't leave. I adjusted my laptop and
You're being a real jabroni tonight.
Yeah, Greg, quit being a jabroni. Okay, here's what we need from you. This is very important. While Haas is here, Pit Snipe Husker ones, give us some background on their new OC and quarterback, please? Who's there? You mean
Last I knew, I was not sure who was actually going to be calling plays for Wisconsin because Luke Fickell made that comment, does it really matter? So I have not seen anything about who is going to be their OC. I know their quarterback's name is escaping me right now.
Beckle or
Braden Locke. And last year, we probably had the worst starting quarterback in Power 4 with a very inexperienced and uncoached Heinrich Harburg. They might have the worst quarterback in Power 4 with Braden Locke. I don't really think – I kind of feel like Phil Longo was the fall guy for Fickell. I think just from the outside looking in, I really kind of feel like Fickell is using Longo as the fall guy, and I just feel like that this is destined to fail for Fickell at Wisconsin. And which is kind of funny because when we hired Rhule and Wisconsin hired Fickell, I was actually flipped on that. I wanted to hire Fickell because I was a little bit bigger of a fan of him being an X's and O's guy, a really good defensive mind. That being said, I think Rhule's probably better from a program building standpoint. I think everything you're seeing right now at Wisconsin really screams of a lot of program-wide dysfunction. But as I say this, Wisconsin's probably going to look like the 2007 Patriots against us on Saturday.
Don't say that.
I mean, like, it is what it is at this point. Man.
People get right against Nebraska.
Yeah, hey, like Damon Bennings always said, you want to get right, you play Nebraska.
All right. I think that those days are over because I don't think Dana Holgorsen will allow that to happen. And also, you could tell from Tony White's press conference that he is making all the guys like check themselves. Yes, you're in position, but why aren't you reaching for the ball? Why aren't you intercepting? You're right there.
That's one of the big problems right now, team-wide, is if you're going to be really good in situational football, it's not just understanding, hey, that kick's going out of bounds, but it's kind of right along the sideline. Let me step out of bounds and then field it so we get the ball at the 40. It's not just that kind of situational football. Situational football is really knowing, hey, I'm trailing the receiver in phase and the ball is dropping in to his front shoulder. I need to put my inside hand up instead of my outside hand. It's the small details like that as much as I despise Iowa football more than any other program in the country, they're really good at it because they coach it, they pay attention to it. And so those are the kind of details that I really like to see Tony White preaching because, I mean, Malcolm Hartzog on that one of those touchdowns against USC, like hands closer together, that makes the difference. Like Al Pacino, friend of the show, Al Pacino, Greg, it's a game of inches, But somebody asked earlier just now, David Matney again. That's 3 in a row, Dave. You're going to have to start paying for the fourth one that we mentioned. If I were in charge, who would I start, Dylan or Heinrich Harburg? I would actually start Heinrich Harburg.
Yes.
Oh, give me
the opportunity to go 11 on 11 and create an extra gap and an extra blocker against Wisconsin and Iowa. I would give the nod to Harburg. I would rep bash sweep and bash quarterback counter. And it would just be basically look like an Army game plan in the Army-Navy game. That's what I would do. Hit Jalen Lloyd and Ja'Cory Barney off play action. Try to drag somebody into a 17-14 rock fight where he finishes the game with like 21 carries for 96 yards.
Justin Rogers says run, Haas. But
I know. Like she's probably looking up my home address in Gretna, Nebraska right now.
Okay. All right. Haas. Normally, you're a pretty level-headed dude. I have to say.
I'm on this Heinrich Harburg redemptive tale, just like arc, where I'm just like, how great would it be? Because I shit on the guy last year. I was up in East Lansing last year when we lost to Michigan State, and I was calling him the worst quarterback in the Power 5. And now I'm like, you know what? This guy might just be it.
Wow, Haas. I respect your football knowledge and all, but this is a little much. Excuse me.
Brad says Haas is about to regret that choice.
Crushing beers over here like Dana Holgorsen, drawing up some quarterback run game.
Haas, you could probably use 1.4 million, right?
Oh yeah. Some of the things I got coming down the pike and student loan debt. Oh yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Why aren't you coaching?
That's a really good point because I have a teaching degree and that's what I went to school for initially.
Yeah.
Teaching and coaching. I even went to graduate school for educational psychology. And then afterwards, I was like, I want to chase the money. So I went into the corporate sector.
Oh.
So now I'm just a part-time football guy. Got my notebook here. You guys can't really see it.
I've got a notebook. I've got a notebook. Does that make? I definitely don't.
You're an honorary football guy, Minnie.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't have a notebook?
Yeah,
yes,
you're probably
we do.
Apple Pencil guy. Yeah.
I don't have any. Haas, you remember the old days of the show when we didn't have notes or formats and we
raw dogged it? One thing I want to add to about Heinrich Harburg, it's going to be balls ass cold in Iowa City on Friday. Perfect for a 6'5", 225-pound quarterback to run the football.
Dylan Raiola is Polynesian. He has a denser bone mass.
Is it bad that
he stays warm?
As glad as I am that Dominic Raiola sent us a 5-star quarterback and another potential 5-star, high 4-star quarterback, I'd be even happier if he sent us like a 5-star center he played, because that's what we need at Nebraska.
We do right now. Well, next year. That would be great.
Yeah, we're going to miss Ben Scott next year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I really hope Sam Sledge can step into that role.
Do you think it'll be Sam Sledge or do you think it'll be Justin Evans?
I really like Justin Evans at guard up until maybe a few games recently. He's so consistent out there that you even forget he's on the field. And that there's no greater compliment to pay to an offensive lineman.
It's true.
It's kind of like Deshaun Singleton. The guy's so consistent that when Rhule mentioned him as an NFL prospect, I thought, what the hell? And then I was like, yeah, he's so consistent. He's so quiet. You don't even notice him out there.
Yeah, I love him. I'm going to miss him a lot. Speaking of which, this weekend is senior day. So we have a lot of seniors that are walking. Not all of them have made up their minds as to whether or not they're coming back.
Well, I hope Jamari Butler and Marquise Buford come back.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were planning on coming back, yes?
Perfect. Because Jamari Butler's playing at a very high level right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marquise Buford, I think his more natural position safety. So if we can get him back to that safety spot, that'll be huge. Speaking of corner, should we address the elephant in the room with Tommy Hill?
Oh. Well, yeah. Because you saw it in the last game, right?
Yeah.
Him falling behind.
You can tell that plantar fasciitis injury
is not gone.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I've had that before. It's unbearable. It honestly probably took me a solid 2 years for it to go away.
Wow.
And so when you're an explosive athlete and you have to backpedal and then plant on that heel and then explode forward, like that's going to cause some problems. But it's unfortunate that he's being shut down, but I'm curious what it's going to look like in the secondary moving forward. Yep. Todd's
here. Hi, Todd.
Todd said earlier that it was nice to see or clear to see that you recovered from the weekend, Minnie.
How did he know? How did he know that I needed to spend some time recovering?
He said, Minnie, you look like you've recovered from Saturday.
Yes.
Toddrick, like the Florida State defensive tackle, Toddrick McIntosh.
I love that. Do you think he would care?
He's from an age that he probably despises Florida State, so probably. But what do you think, Todd?
I love Todd. He is like one of the coolest dudes ever. Oh,
he says
yeah.
he says you couldn't find him, so he figured you were having a great time.
It was a great time starting at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
When did the great time end?
It didn't.
Hey,
It didn't end.
I would say like about the time the game ended and Nebraska lost.
Minnie is fully embracing her Dana Holgorsen, Jimmy Buffett era here.
I am. Yes, that's a good way to put it, Haas. Thank you. A process.
For those of you who have seen me without a hat, you know that the hairline's a little further back. But I recently tempted, or not,
You have a hairline?
Taunted Katie, my girlfriend Katie, about growing out my hair like Dana Holgorsen, so the locks are flowing in the wind. And as a hairdresser, she was not on board with that.
No.
So I will not have the skullet at any point, guys.
The skullet? Is that what it's called? Oh, geez. Well, okay. So, Holgorsen, we finally got to hear him talk about Nebraska. Okay, yeah.
Can I just reference one thing real quick?
Okay.
Dana Holgorsen, Eric Chenander, Bob Diaco. Why do we keep hiring guys that grew up as Iowa Hawkeyes fans?
Oh.
Like, it's too much.
Chenander and Diaco fizzled out, so hopefully Holgorsen can at least.
There's
I
no
have an idea.
reason, Greg.
I have an idea.
I didn't know there were that many Iowa fans.
It's like asking a 2-year-old to lift up a coffee table. Does the 2-year-old get mad when he can't lift up the coffee table? There's no reasonable reason. Do you remember that one?
No.
That was Bob Diaco's greatest hit right there. Saw him speak at the 2017 Coaches Clinic, and it was like, what the hell?
It's happening, Matty. Don't you worry, buddy.
Love the air raid. Greg can attest to that going back to 2017.
Oh, it's what, Minnie, did you have a corn glove on?
One of my souvenirs from this weekend. This is why I was answering Haas's question, because they like corn.
Oh.
Or they just they want to live in the People's Republic of Iowa City.
All right, where are we at on the format here?
Well, I was asking what we think,
Just
what
making sure.
Haas thinks specifically about Holgorsen saying, there's a young guy on the roster. I'm not going to say who, but I think he could help us win some games.
I bet it's going to be a receiver and a running back. That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Mainly because of two things that he mentioned in the press conference. The first is calling out the big-bodied receivers for not blocking at the point of attack and calling it embarrassing. I think just kind of going off of who else is on the roster in terms of big-bodied receivers, it's either Bonner, but he's been getting he got a lot of snaps against USC, or potentially Quinn Clark, the freshman out of Bozeman, Montana, son of Ken Clark, former Husker Ken Clark. At running back, though, I'm kind of confused because like the only other one that it could be would be Mekhi Nelson, the freshman out of Connecticut that we got late in the summer who signed with us.
What about Quentin Ives?
I don't think Quentin Ives should be playing FBS football.
What?
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to expand on that one, buddy.
I don't think that he has shown anything in the kick return game. He didn't show anything in the Indiana game when he was getting snaps that suggests that he's athletically ready to be at this level.
Dang. It's funny that you mentioned that because that's what, a lot of the conversation this week has been circling around is that now we have to get down to 105 on our roster. And so that, we're taking all these players, young guys, that basically they'll be developing now in JUCO and moving up.
I think you're going to see a lot of guys in JUCO. I think you're going to see a lot of guys drop down to Group of 5 football, FCS football. And I think that I think that ultimately these roster limits are going to hurt college football. I think they're going to go the other direction eventually and expand again to being like, hey, as many as you want, go for it. Right now, this feels like it's a little bit reactionary, trying to catch up to NIL and all the big changes that have happened in college football since 2018. But in terms of overall getting down to that number of 95, you're going to see a pretty good purge probably take place. I think you're going to see guys leave. It's going to be interesting when you're looking at, guys who are more role players. Like James Williams, like I know that I'm like president and CEO of the James Williams fan club, the sack man. He's got talent that we haven't seen at the pass rush position since Randy Gregory. That being said, a role player like him, where's he fit in a 95-man roster? Because it's going to be more like the NFL where you're thinking like, hey, I really want a fourth tight end, but I can't really afford it on a 53-man roster. These are the kind of decisions that are going to take place. And I think it's criminal for the NCAA to enact this. I think it takes away from the spirit of the sport. I think it takes away from opportunities for guys to pursue their dreams of being walk-ons and playing college football at the highest level. And I just think it's kind of, bullshit in general.
Quick question here from Tiger Shark Diver, since you mentioned Jay Will. Tiger Shark Diver says he doesn't fit in a 3-4. We don't really run a 3-4.
No, we don't. And that's the beauty of what Tony White does, that 3-3-5 hybrid. It can align as an odd front and fit as an even front post snap. James Williams isn't really a traditional like hand on the ground defensive end in 3-4, but you're always going to find place for a guy that is able to rush the passer like that within your scheme. Being able to fit him onto the roster, that's a whole nother ballgame. I'm not advocating for him to be cut. I want him to stay. I'm just using that as an example.
No, it makes sense. Gosh, that is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be like we're going to be following the cuts like people follow the cuts in NFL training camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
105.
By the way, Greg, I saw your Steelers just took the lead.
You're watching football and doing this at the same time? I can't even.
Right there.
How do you do that? I can't multitask like that.
My undiagnosed ADHD. Anyone who knows me knows I have it.
Keep it undiagnosed. It'll help with underwriting. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we addressed the rumors about Malachi.
Stop it, Husker Chuck. Don't be jealous.
Did we? Did we address the rumors?
Probably not.
Not really, no.
No, we really didn't. Okay. So rumors have been circulating that Malachi Coleman is going to enter the transfer portal in December. And he obviously has been not on the roster, on the travel roster, even though he's been healthy. He's been healthy since UTEP. And so they're not confirming. Nobody's confirming, but there's rumors. I hate this for so many reasons. I don't know how you guys feel, but this just breaks my heart.
It's unfortunate. And it, for somebody as talented as he is, and then everybody knows about the backstory that he's had. He's come from a background where there's been a lot of trauma over the course of his childhood and, young, adolescence leading up to now. And I just think that for a lot of individuals who undergo, trauma, from a young age in their development, they become distrustful of teachers, coaches, whoever, the system in place. When you're injured and you're not playing, and it doesn't matter, this could be Tom Osborne as the head coach. I'm just using this as an example because I've been injured as a football player as well. You feel like you're on the outside looking in. And so it's really hard to your mind can go to some places that you really aren't fully bought in. You don't feel like the coaches care about you. And I think that is really amplified when it's somebody coming from his background like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that he's been technically, on the roster or been able to be, play since UTEP, but there's also been a lot of stuff about a lot of a groin injury that he's been dealing with. And I just think when you're a high level athlete and you have the one thing that's really kind of keeping you on the right path taken away from you, it's easy to kind of begin to self-sabotage a little bit. And football
Wow.
at all times, or try to reach through to these guys. They really try to be there for players, because players come from all different backgrounds. Not everybody's growing up, on Mayberry Street. They're coming from different backgrounds, different family lives, different things happen to them over the course of their lives. And so, when things like this happen, sometimes you can't really, you can't save them all, basically. And so if this is a case of, the injury got to him a little bit too much, and he decided to, just go on, kind of, not be as dialed in, that's what happens. There's nothing against the kids, nothing against Matt Rhule.
Well, I mean, maybe it is, because just hear me out.
Okay.
He was wearing number 15. Dylan Raiola comes in and wants that number, and he's like, we'll see how that works out. I don't think Dylan Raiola is like, give me that number, because he's just not that person. But, that was his number.
We don't know that.
Well, I just think it. Okay.
There is a chance.
So,
there is a chance, and I'm
Dylan wore number 1 in high school.
All I'm saying,
it's true.
Look, I'm only speaking up now because I was late on the show, and with Haas here, I haven't had a whole lot to say. But we don't know. No, you're fine. I'm glad you're here. There's a chance that Dylan Raiola is a severe prima donna behind the scenes. And maybe he did.
What planet do you live on?
I'm just being a shithead.
Go put your glow in the dark glasses back on and turn off the lights. Jeez.
Go home and get your shine box.
I'm just being a shit disturber. I apologize.
So, okay, he's no longer number 15. And after last year, he played quite a bit, and they said, oh, well, he needs to learn the playbook, and he also got injured. But he's coming into this season, and they got Dylan Raiola because they were ready to run the ball mainly back before Dylan committed. So when Dylan came, they went and got 2 wide receivers out of the portal, Isaiah Nair and Jamal Banks, and kind of like replaced where Malachi would be like learning everything. So I kind of feel like we did him dirty.
And I kind of feel like the addition of Banks and Nair were to help Garrett McGuire with that receiver room to get some guys on the field while giving Malachi Coleman and Jalen Lloyd and Ja'Cory Barney time to develop. But for whatever reason, like that room, the rotation actually just never really was able to get Coleman in there, whether it's for injury issues, whether it's for anything else. And it's kind of a shame because it's not like Nair and Banks really, tore it up to the point where no one else could rotate in. For the most part, Nair had that great game against Illinois, but both those guys have been woefully inconsistent all year long.
Yep.
Colt Bundy wishes that Malachi would stay for next year after the wide receiver room thins out a little bit when Banks and Nair leave.
Hey, real quick, I'm going to step away for just a quick second, all right?
Okay. He's gone. Yeah, this is Malachi's book.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing number 15, guys.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks so much, Greg, for your help. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice book.
I didn't really know how to
nice
all these things that you're saying are accurate. That is his book. He's wearing number 15. I didn't really know how to what more you wanted me to extrapolate.
That was his number. Okay. He even made a book with him on the cover wearing 15.
And as Orson says, it is a nice book. Let's see here. comment. Oh, Megan McKenzie was late and asked what I miss, which is a famous
Megan.
BFOTS Josh Hansen line. I was also late. I didn't get to say what I missed because I had my fun intro. And thank you all for making my run-in so memorable. Oh, gosh, you all are the best. You Chatterfields. Oh, I know you were appreciating it. You were appreciating it more than this one over here. So.
Okay. Okay, Greg, since Haas is gone, why don't we go ahead and just cover some housekeeping?
I like it.
Oh, no. What are you doing?
Nothing. I was getting a visual aid.
Okay. Go ahead.
This part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, we like to remind you all.
He's here. He's back.
So,
We got him.
Saw a really good comment I'd like to address. I'm just going to run over Greg here and totally ignore what he was just about to say.
Do it. Do it. I second that.
I personally think that Coleman would be better on defense. Amen.
Who?
I think that he should lift and eat his way into being an outside linebacker edge rusher.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting. But he has
like you're looking at an elite pass rusher.
What about his sure hands?
Have you ever heard the saying, Minnie, that God doesn't root for any team except for the one who has a better pass rush?
I've never heard that saying.
God usually is on the side of who has a better pass rush. So that's why I think pass rushers are worth their weight in gold.
Okay. Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Or is this something you just made up?
Well, I think it was Bear Bryant that originally said that.
So God only roots for the team that has the better pass rusher?
Meaning the team that has the better pass rush is always going to win.
Okay.
See that?
Now I know. I didn't know.
By the way, many theories or speculations about your quick disappearance. Pitt says fastest poo in Gretna.
My back teeth were floating, Pitt.
Orson says, did you wipe?
Welcome, Orson.
BFOTS Josh Hansen says, I think Haas just left just to interrupt Greg when he came back.
You're damn right. Greg runs my life every Sunday night during football season. This is the least that I can do.
That's what I do.
All
right.
Lost my thing. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm pretty sure that if I got picked up for like outstanding traffic tickets and had to spend a Sunday night in county, Greg would be like, we're still recording, right?
Yeah. But he won't show up on time for this show.
Yeah.
As I said in the pre-show comments, because there were technical difficulties, because I'm so irreplaceable and nobody else knows how to get the show on time. I had a work appointment. It was a successful work appointment. I'm very happy with how the evening played out. Thank you.
Good.
All right.
That sounds good.
Hey, in fact,
being looked at for FAU. Are you serious, Roggy?
He's consulting with the Rams, correct?
Yep.
Let's do something over there. Interesting.
Huh.
All right. Let's take this quick opportunity to take care of some housekeeping. That is, of course, first and foremost, a reminder to, if you're on YouTube, joining us on YouTube, make sure you like. There was a comment earlier that there were 80-something people on YouTube. There's currently 76. That's fine. But only a handful of likes. So if you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you hit like. Subscribe to the Coordination channel if you haven't already. I know we're over 10,000 subscribers, but I feel like we've plateaued a little bit, about 10,400-ish. So, look, we have live content multiple nights of the week. We have, John's instant reaction. We have access to his hardcore football history. So, a lot going on at the Coordination YouTube channel. So hit subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so you never miss a new episode. And also, and this is what I was reaching for, the visual aid, John's book, one of a few. This is Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. I applied for my passport today. Never had a passport before, never left the country. So while I'm not planning on going to Europe immediately, I do need a passport for some 2025 traveling. So I think the race is on now. Who's going to get to Europe first, me or John? But regardless, Probably more time. Regardless,
sorry, John.
The book, and you know what? That's an interesting thing. It's the
interesting. It's a good read for all ages, and with Christmas coming up, it would make a wonderful stocking stuffer.
I don't know if I'd call it appropriate for all ages. But what I was going to say,
last time at Christmas time, John promised free T-shirts to a couple of us on here, and
you still haven't got your T-shirt either.
Nope.
Oh, man.
I had to go out and I buy my shirt, so and then I bought a few like it. So here's the thing regarding, as Haas said, I have more time. We never know when it's going to be our time.
Gosh, would you not? That is so doom and gloom. What is wrong with you?
Live every day to the fullest. All right. Tell the people that you love them, and hug your kids if you have them. Don't leave anything left unsaid. So for that, I say to all of you, this fan family that we have here, the 5 Heart Podcast, thank you. You make my Thursdays worthwhile, and I look forward. As soon as the show's over, usually after the game, I'm already excited for the next Thursday night to come and hang out with all of you. So thank you all for being a part of the show here. Make sure that you get your sweet Cobby merch at cobbycorn.com. I got to talk to John before Sunday to see if we can't put together a nice little Thanksgiving. Not Sunday. Sunday. See if we can put together a little Thanksgiving sale, something like that. Maybe we can get you 10 or 15% off something at Cobby Corn.
We're going to do that next week.
Yeah, but if we can promote it and do, because, talk about housekeeping. Next week's show, obviously it's Thanksgiving, so we're going to be doing our show on Wednesday. That means we're going to have live shows for you. Haas, I'm assuming we'll go live on Sunday. I don't know.
And Haas, you're welcome back.
First time since I was 21 years old. You're damn right we are.
Oh, wait, and will you come back here on Wednesday?
No, Wednesday is something of a holy day in my life. Night before Thanksgiving. It's a favorite holiday.
My goodness.
I understand.
So funny.
Turkey before turkey.
Do you stay up late stuffing that turkey?
No, usually I just stay up late drinking these as I watch work in the kitchen.
Okay.
But
just wondering.
I'm just in charge of morale when people are getting stuff ready the night before Thanksgiving.
Like, you're doing great.
I'll make my jalapeno cornbread, but that's about it.
Nice.
Like when I show up to a Thanksgiving, it's like, what's Haas bringing? Jalapeno cornbread, Coors Banquet, a bottle of bourbon, and some wine.
Nice.
Sure.
You never show up empty-handed. I like it.
No.
You can come out to Arizona anytime.
How's the weather out there?
Oh, fantastic.
See, I don't know. Today was some of my favorite type of weather, Minnie, here in Omaha. 37 and sunny.
Yuck.
Oh, beautiful.
It's freezing. Almost.
No, freezing is like 15 degrees. That's when I think it's cold.
Oh, thanks.
So anyway, the plan is, as of right now, we'll have live content for you on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. So we got you covered essentially from the day after the game all the way to Turkey Day. Make sure, again, that you join us here live on the Corn Nation YouTube channel. And hopefully by Sunday, we'll have some type of special discount for you at cobbycorn.com, because 'tis the season to be giving, and give them some sweet Nebraska merch that is disaffiliated with the university itself. We have to make sure we know that. But who doesn't want a Cobby to, give to a loved one who has no idea about Corn Nation, and they'll be very surprised. And maybe if they don't want it, you'll have yourself a free shirt. So we'll have a special for you here, a sale next week. And this is the most randomest of comments that are highlighted.
He says
perplexed.
He says he's 94. I wonder if he's 14. Okay. Next.
Greg loves the Blue Chew.
I know. He loves to.
Dental hygienist.
Next, I'd like to show a little bit about my trip to USC if Todd were here, I would invite him to show, because he got to spend like the whole week getting ready for this game with his family. He has his whole, like, a bunch of family members live out in California. So he went out early and started preparing like days before. I was there from Friday to Sunday. I got to meet my new BFF, Nebraska Rascal. And he hooked me up with a group that they were so fun. They were the North Texans Nebraskans. And they put on an event like every year. They travel. There's probably like 50 of them. They travel. Hey, I was wearing heels. Okay.
6'1".
So, huh?
So you were 6'1".
We have guesses of 6'1" and 6'5" in the comments.
Well, do we have that picture from the three of us before the Colorado game?
Somewhere. I'm definitely much taller than all of you. If Minnie's 6'1", I'm like 7'5".
Hey, I'm 5'10" on my driver's license, which means I'm 5'9" in real life.
You round up too.
Yep.
Okay. So these guys, they put an event together that is so wonderful. They were staying at the Hilton. And I want to show that picture because this is what is so cool. Because when you get to go with a bunch of people like this is what makes it really great. Check this out.
5'16".
This is a view from my room.
That's a Nebraska flag.
Across, yeah, this is part of the hotel. That's across the way from my room. There's a Nebraska flag. And do you see who's running down the beach?
Was it Todd?
Did you Photoshop that?
Yes.
I mean, he's really rolling outside the pocket from his pass protection there.
We need probably more mobility. More bootlegs.
Greg, the Browns just scored.
It's things like this that are so fun when you can get together. Like, I didn't know any of these people. And so, yeah, now I'm all best friends with, they even gave me their sign. And, okay, now that I've bored everyone, you tuned out, Greg. Haas tuned out.
Sorry, I'm watching the
One thing I'm going to say, though, about the USC game, I have one thing to say. I was standing up the last 5 minutes-ish. USC fans were leaving. Husker fans obviously don't. That last play, we all know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The one where Jamal Banks had a pass interference, right? Or there was a pass interference on him. I'm watching Dylan Raiola because they're on that. I was sat kind of on that side. He throws the pass and it gets intercepted by the guy who comes in front. Dylan Raiola saw the holding. He saw the pass interference and he stayed on the field. He's waiting to get that play back. He is the last one to leave. And I loved that about him. I have to say, after seeing him do that in person, it's just things like that, those little things where you expect to win that make you a winner. And also when he said that in his press conference after the game, that we're going to win the next game. I love to hear that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I just thought it was really wonderful.
Brett on X says JB got mugged.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Fred on YouTube said, I was watching Dylan Raiola, quote from Minnie, the rest of us, no fucking shit.
Jeez. Come on.
Sorry, I couldn't help.
Wait, I like Fred's next comment.
This one? This one here?
Yep.
Minnie, he was the last one to leave because he moves like me after doing hip sled at the gym.
That's not true, Fred. I don't know what you look like after you do hip sled. Hip sled? Hip sled? I don't even know what that is.
Hip sled.
But
Almond
he
Green
doesn't.
to 1,100 pounds, owns the Nebraska record for it.
Who's that?
Okay.
Almond Green owns the hip sled record at Nebraska at 1,100.
Oh,
That's
what is a hip sled? I just
cool.
need to know now.
It's
Is
when
it the
like
one
you're
where you
sitting
slide?
down and like your legs are up at an incline, you disengage the lever, and then it goes down. You push it back up.
I just kind of call it
I like that
leg
one.
press, but
Leg press when you're sitting horizontally.
okay.
Or
I didn't realize it was so
most people
snowy in
could
Cleveland
do
tonight.
a great one, the back squat.
Oh,
You're a
Does it put it-
purist.
Yeah, just like Scott Frost and Zach Duval. Even though that was the biggest load of crap ever.
okay. Well, I'm telling you, it's not because he's immobile, people. It is not that at all. He is a true winner. He was waiting for it to be called back. Okay.
Carl Pence asked, is Minnie obsessed with Dylan? And Kaylee says in response, Carl, you have no idea.
Kaylee, really?
I think the word is out.
You know, on that last drive against USC, the catch that Jalen Lloyd had, that's another guy that I think you'll see get a ton of snaps moving forward these last two games under Holgorsen.
That's interesting.
I can see that.
I think he's been criminally underused the entire year.
Really?
Fastest guy in the Big Ten.
How fast exactly?
4.2840, I think. He set all the records at the Big Eight. Wow, not that old. Big Ten indoor track and field championships over the spring.
I love quizzing Haas. Don't you? Let's just,
He has
guys,
an eidetic
let's
memory.
start throwing random questions at Haas. This is just,
Yeah, do it.
we're going to Greggle Haas
What do you
tonight.
got?
What you got for Haas? Some random
Wait a minute.
questions.
Did somebody say Greggle?
Oh, Greg.
I
All
just
right.
like the fact that we are abandoning the format.
We aren't. No,
Dogging it.
no, we're not. Oh, jeez.
BFOTS Josh Hansen says Lloyd has been insanely underused. Haas is right, as always.
Love you, Josh.
What do you think the chances of us winning on Saturday are?
Well, we're 1.5 point favorite. We opened as 1.5 point favorites. I think that this is a really good matchup for us to get a win. I think that it's going to be the ugliest of all Big Ten West games, even though the Big Ten West doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to say like Nebraska 15, Wisconsin 13. It's going to be weird.
It is going to be weird because Wisconsin's defense is insanely good.
It might even be like the sicko game when Virginia Tech and Wake Forest went to overtime, tied at 0. I could see it being like that too.
Oh my gosh.
Let me ask a question.
It's going to be peak Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine Cole says at 10:15 just a minute ago, is it true DR guaranteed a W versus Wisconsin? Yes. But why would he do that? Because he has to realize that if you do not deliver on that promise, you are going to be in a world of shit.
What would you rather him do? He didn't guarantee it. He didn't sit up there and say, I guarantee you we're going to win. We're going to beat Wisconsin. Those Badgers, I got their number. He didn't sit up there and say that. He goes, we'll just get the win next week.
Yeah, this kind of feels like that time that Jeff Brom and Purdue tried to accuse Scott Frost of guaranteeing a win against Purdue in 18, when all Frost said was, hey, it's a winnable game. And then they talked a bunch of shit afterwards.
Yeah. Settle down. Settle down. Haas is here to settle us down.
That
Brent
being
said-
said,
He said we'd win many. That's how guarantees work.
I think Dylan needs to do a lot of reflection before this game.
Oh my gosh, Haas. Not you too.
No,
That's
yeah.
twice. You've got 2 strikes, mister.
Yep. Diving before or sliding a yard shy of the first down marker. And then I think that it'd be probably in his best interest if he didn't play against Iowa. Because that scheme, those DBs are going to eat him alive. I feel like the most unpopular man in the state of Nebraska right now.
No,
I feel like you are too.
Let's see who said it. Oh, Nebraska Rascal said Dylan guaranteed a 6th win to get bowl eligible only.
Kind of feel like he said, I'm just focusing on getting the next win. I mean, I only heard it once, but I kind of feel like that's what he said. So
Browns are in the prevent, Hoss. I mean, I know you're watching.
All right. That's just rude,
I can't
Greg.
tell you how much I hate the Steelers, Greg.
I know you hate the Steelers.
Yep.
All right. So if we can move on.
He meant next year.
Kaylee. Jeez.
Russell
I thought you were here to do some uplifting.
Was a rookie in the NFL the last time we beat Wisconsin.
Husker Bob says Dylan must be going to really step it up. Congratulating HH on a great game. At this point, we're just doing this to mess with you, Minnie. I'm sorry. Kind of.
Heinrich Harburg, 70-yard option keeper, first play of the game.
I have no problem with Heinrich playing. I love him. I just know that the problem is if we don't start Dylan and if we don't play Dylan, he's a 5-star quarterback. Any other team would love to have him on their roster. You guys have to remember that. Like,
I do know that Scary Alvarez said Monday that he would give his left hand or some part of his anatomy to have, and he said any Wisconsin fan would to have Dylan on their team.
Yeah.
From a raw athletic standpoint, yes. From just a pure talent standpoint, but right now, that is a broken quarterback. He's trying to anticipate where pressure's coming from. He's trying to anticipate coverage. It seems like he's guessing a lot of times instead of relying on his fundamentals and really being able to identify what's going to happen pre-snap.
Why would you take that down?
Why? Because you're highlighting comments that suit your agenda. All right. This is fair and balanced.
No, it isn't. This is definitely not that.
No, I saw what it said about Harburg being a turnover machine. Yeah, last year he was a turnover machine. Also, he pretty much single-handedly willed us to 5 wins with no receivers, a bad offensive coordinator, while receiving no quarterback coaching instruction over the course of the entire year. I think that when he's got in limited sample sizes, you can see that he spins the ball better than he did last year. And he's more of a threat to take off and run and being decisive. So that's where I'm at. I just think that the threat of him creasing it from 70 gives you a better chance to finish 7-5 than Dylan going out there, for the last 2 games. If the past, 10 games have been that's a little unfair. The past 5 games are any indication.
Okay. Well, Haas, like I said on Monday night, and sorry to reference another show. That's not this one.
That's okay. I'm on the other show.
Yeah. Greg does it all the time. It's somewhat annoying.
I typically reference Haas. Okay.
Greg's
So
like, when I drink beer with Haas on Sunday.
He's like, my other show, the better one.
You have no idea how much I feel like Mr. Rogers right now.
I took
Monday night
off a little bit ago too, man.
On Monday night, I did say to anyone who would listen that the tempo has changed immensely. Okay, because what we were doing from all those previous games to the last game, it was night and day difference. Mm-hmm. And I compared it to ballroom dancing, which probably is not the best comparison given the
Not much
audience.
familiarity with that, no.
Yes, I didn't think of who I was talking to, but it's like anything with a super fast speed, like a lullaby is what we were playing before. And now we're playing like, something like thrasher music. Does that make sense? So you got to give yourself at least a week to get used to that music.
I agree to an extent.
Okay.
After Ty Robinson forced that fumble on Maeva and Sierra Wright recovered it, we had a third down deep in USC territory. We ran a screen and go where we faked the screen and then Jamal Banks leaked out on a wheel route. It was about 3rd and 3. Banks is wide open. It's a first down, if not a touchdown. And Dillon looks at him and then turns and checks it down to Emmett Johnson for a 1-yard gain. We have to settle for a field goal. So Dana is putting us in great opportunities to create one-on-ones. But the quarterback, the trigger man, is not pulling the trigger.
I mean, what if that was a design play to go to running back?
It wasn't. Banks was the primary read off the screen and go.
Were you in the head space, the head thingy?
It was the concept, Minnie.
I don't know. I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm not in their headgear. I wish I was, but I'm not.
By and large, concepts are the same concepts, from team to team. It's how you coach them. It's how you call them that matter. And when he had Banks wide open off that, he looks, and he's just the pressure has got to him throughout the year, and not the pressure externally from the fan base, but the pressure on the field, trying to identify coverage. He's got the yips. And he double clutched it and ended up checking it down. And in that case, what more can Dana Holgorsen do? I mean, he even said it, telling Barthel at halftime, hey, backs need to hit the hole hard and they need to make somebody miss in the open field because the offensive line was doing a nice job in run blocking.
Mm-hmm. They were.
Go down the entire list on different players on offense. Really, the only ones that really stood out in the game were Janier and Bonner, Emmett Johnson, and Dan Alexander 2.0, Dante Dowdell.
Yeah, he did good. He did really well. For sure. I don't know. I thought it was everybody. I felt like everybody took a step forward instead of it seeming like, we had this person and that person. Yes, some took a bigger step forward, but I feel like the offense as a whole took a step forward, and that was refreshing to see. So I think you need to give them another week.
I feel like the offense did take a step forward, but I also feel like USC's defense, for how they were trying to defend us, is going to be a lot different than how Wisconsin and Iowa are going to defend us. Wisconsin's really going to try to take away anything that we're going to do pre-snap. So they're going to try to fill up gaps before the snap, align with more guys on the line of scrimmage, take away the run, really force Dillon to make decisions on the fly. So that's where I'm kind of concerned because Mike Tressel is a really good DC for Wisconsin. Yeah. He's the nephew of Jim Tressel, former Ohio State head coach. And so I think that veteran defensive coordinators going all the way back to Schiano when we beat Rutgers in early October, our last win, they really figured it out. And the book is out on Dillon since then. And I think no matter what Dana does to scheme up one-on-ones, put the offense in a position to succeed, I think this offense has an engine problem.
Engine problem, really?
Question for you. Minnie, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's more important? Nebraska's 6th win or coddling a true freshman quarterback?
Okay, so it depends. And I'm going to say this, and I truly mean it.
Okay.
It depends.
I believe you truly mean it.
Are we looking towards the future, or are we looking towards the right now?
I would say I'm looking towards the right now. I'm looking at the fact that we have not been, I'm going to borrow a Haas phrase, we haven't been to a bowl game since the Obama administration.
I mean, come on, guys. They feel that pressure. I don't think anyone needs to repeat that. We know.
And we haven't beat the that team from Wisconsin since when, Haas? What was new?
The iPhone 4.
Yeah.
We have to win right now. Like, it's imperative to win right now. We have to get this monkey off our back.
So I'm going to share. This was sent to me by BFOTS Josh Hansen.
Well, I can say one thing before you do that.
Okay.
With what Haas just said. If by chance we only get like the 5th win, that's it. And they let people in, schools in with grades, we made damn sure that we are not going to fall behind other schools with our grades. So I don't know if they're doing that this year with the 12-team playoff.
We have one marquee win.
I think that's I get what you're saying, Minnie, but I feel like that's like getting in on a technicality.
I don't care.
Like, go out and win the 6th game. If it means Dylan transfers somewhere because we start somebody else, so be it. One person.
Bite your tongue.
Not getting the program hostage.
What the heck?
Two things.
Nebraska football is bigger than any one man.
Two things.
I agree.
I'm going to quote a fantastic movie based on a true story, Miracle, where Coach Herb Brooks says about Team USA that the name on the front of the jersey is a hell of a lot more important, means a hell of a lot more than the name on the back. All right. So the sum is greater than the parts. And I'm going to share that with this. I'm not a Dirk Chatelain fan. Nothing against him personally. I just don't care for his general cynicism.
Is it because you love Bo Pelini?
No. But he tweeted or X'd out a day or two back. This was shared to me again by BFOTS Josh Hansen. Shout out to Josh. This was on X. The last time Nebraska won its 6th game of the season was October 15th, 2016. The Cubs hadn't won a World Series in 108 years. Caitlin Clark had not played a high school basketball game. High school. Patrick Mahomes was still at Texas Tech. Hillary Clinton was strongly favored to be president.
Yeah, the Billy Bush.
You have to follow all those bad decisions. Sorry, Haas. I had to speak over you because it just irritates me.
Let's go win with Danny Kalen.
I don't care who we win with. I don't care if we win with a Wildcat formation. I don't want Nebraska's football season to end once again in November.
Let me tell you.
Call me greedy or selfish. I want December football for Nebraska.
I do not want to be driving back from Iowa City the Saturday after Thanksgiving, being depressed and thinking about just, how nice it would be to play in a bowl game. I'm tired of this.
Yeah. I feel your guys' pain. I mean, you have to realize I have actually never seen what it feels like to go beyond just a regular season. Yeah. No, I haven't.
When did you I say this like that being sarcastic at all, Minnie. When did you become a fan of Nebraska? Like
just barely about 9 years ago.
Man, I thought I picked a bad time to get into Husker football in 2000.
I know.
Born in 90. Woof.
But I'm looking towards the future. I see did you guys see the Dawson Merritt interview?
With Adam Carricker?
This week? Yes.
No.
Oh. Well,
I know it exists. I did not watch it.
Dawson Merritt's going to be a phenomenal football player at Nebraska.
Aaron Keene. No, I did not.
Kidding.
I will say this. If I had to choose between beating Iowa but Dylan transfers. I'm going to take beating Iowa.
Beating Iowa or Dylan transfers. Are you freaking kidding me? You are so brainwashed.
I'm taking. I live in Omaha. It's the 38th parallel of this rivalry. I can't take it when I walk into Oscars or the grocery store and I see Iowa fans and they're able to just to pull rank, pull scoreboard.
Hey, I know how you feel. I have one of my best girlfriends is an Iowa fan. And I don't like that either, okay? But here's the thing. Dawson Merritt said that just be patient. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase. Just be patient, Husker fans, because next year there's going to be some players on this team. And he said it only takes a couple of good players to make a team. But we have several.
Is there a left tackle that we don't know about?
Now, come on. You've been pretty nice to Gunnar Gatula.
I like Gunnar Gatula.
What? Yeah. I mean, he missed one.
That was a stunt they ran on us.
Yeah. Yeah. But he did really good. He's done really, really good, surprisingly.
But right now, I think the whole thing it comes down to we have to balance the, hey, wait till next year, the Chicago Cubs line with we got to win now. Because each year that goes by, we slip further and further into irrelevance to the point where you're like Greg said, the stats that he read off that Dirk Chadlin wrote. You're getting to a point where people are in high school that, were young the last time Nebraska was in a bowl game.
Yeah. People have never even known about Nebraska being good. It's a joke.
I turned 34 on Tuesday, and I was 26 the last time we played in a bowl.
Can I be double shithead?
You always are.
Thank you. If Dylan transfers, what are the odds that Dayton maintains his commitment?
That's a good question.
I mean, why are you starting rumors, Greg? What's wrong with you?
First of all, and look, outside, our community is great, but nobody's going to go to the message board and say, random jackass on the Five Heart podcast says ... It's not a rumor. It's hypothetical. It's not. I'm not.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this right now. Let's break down Wisconsin.
Oh God, I thought you were gonna be like, let's perk everybody up with Five Heart Theater.
I was gonna say that.
I'm not sure.
But first,
know what it is.
You may have to play a little part, Toss.
So,
Hoss, you think TJ Lateef sticks around?
I have some opinions on him as a quarterback.
Okay.
I don't.
Should we save that for the offseason, you think?
I think so. I think so.
I think anytime you feel
playing like a huge part of this podcast now or something.
It is. We have fun. I think anytime you have thoughts on Husker football, you should just jump on and just throw out a video. Just say, I was thinking about TJ Lateef, and here's my thoughts.
I don't know, Minnie. I think I might need to start having a burner Twitter account to tweet out some of my thoughts so you don't jump me here.
I know. I'll be coming after you.
Carl says, I think Minnie's head's going to pop off if Dylan transfers. If Dylan transfers, we're going to have Monday night and Thursday night therapy for Minnie. Yeah. It's going to be dark.
All right. So Wisconsin, let's just run down Wisconsin. We know that they don't have a play caller.
I'm willing to bet, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm willing to bet that the Adam Sandler lookalike Luke Fickell probably is going to be arrogant enough to call his own plays.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't have a backup quarterback, and they lost their starting running back to the portal 3 games into the season.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains why they've been scoring pretty low since.
I really think that for Wisconsin, it's a case of be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. they wanted to fire Paul Christ, and he was somebody that had them at a high level. I never bought the program was on the decline under Paul Christ. And, they wanted to modernize the program, and look where it got them now. I mean, I say this, 2 days before the game, 2 days from now, I could be saying, oh, they just ran for 350 yards on us, because that's the shit that seems to happen in Nebraska. But at the end of the day, like, they wanted something. They wanted to modernize their program. And so they tried that route. Fickle, Phil Longo, the air raid. And it's got them to 2 consecutive years. We go to play them second to last weekend of the regular season. They're at 5-5. And if anyone were to say, oh, it's like Solich, I think the signs of decline were more prevalent under Solich than what Wisconsin had under Christ. But Wisconsin's still going to play good defense. They're still going to have really good DBs. And that's another reason why I think it's probably better to try to run on them, just because of the fact that I think a veteran defensive coordinator is going to really try to fool Dillon with different coverage shells before the snap and flipping to a different coverage. But other than that, I'm not too concerned about them offensively. Like I said, Braden Locke, probably the worst quarterback in the Power Four. They don't have any semblance of a run game like what USC does. Don't really need to worry about their receivers getting loose on us. I think Will Pauling, their slot receiver, who had like 7 catches for 90-some yards last year against us, he's out for this game. This will come down to one thing, and that's controlling the line of scrimmage on defense. Being able to get after Locke, being able to displace the line of scrimmage, and really, give that running back no room to operate. Other than that, if we give up more than 325 yards on offense, we're probably on the losing end of this.
Okay. Well, here's the wonderful thing. Our defense is going to come to play. So I have no doubt, like what you said earlier, that we could go into halftime without them scoring. I would love to see that. I think it would bolster our locker room. We need that. Have we done that at all this season?
Shut somebody out in the first half?
Yeah.
Colorado, didn't we?
No, I think we had 3 right before half.
Hold on.
Well, it would feel really good. And I think we need that.
Purdue, we were tied at 0.
We were?
It out.
Oh, look at that. See? These are the questions we need to be asking Haas.
28-0. Okay, thanks, Chuck.
RS checking in from the Philippines.
Are you on the other side of the international date line and you already know something, RS?
See, I was right. Come on now. Give me a little credit here.
Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, we need that. We need that pick-me-up again. We need it desperately. It would feel so good. It would feel good for us fans, and it would feel good for our locker room. So our defense has got to come to play.
I think that the Omaha, Lincoln, and other parts of Nebraska, in general, I was going to just say Omaha, Lincoln, Metroplex, but I didn't want to leave out anybody else. If we beat Wisconsin, that's a reason to party on Saturday night. Yeah. That's something that hasn't happened in a damn long time. So go to the liquor store before the game. Be well stocked to celebrate.
Okay, what's brandy was your liqueur of choice, right?
Buffalo Trace bourbon, if I can find it.
Or bourbon, excuse me.
Brandy, I'm not that fancy. Look, don't let the master's degree fool you, Minnie. I'm still just a blue-collar guy.
Maybe a little sherry.
Okay.
Brandy.
All right. So, yes, Mike Tressel, the defensive coordinator, you already mentioned. He's the nephew of the other Jim Tressel guy.
One-time rumored Husker head football coach Jim Tressel.
Yes. Well, he was with Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. And Greg, would you like to tell us about him?
Yes.
He has red hair.
At Cincinnati, the Bearcats defense was ranked 5th nationally in scoring defense and number 10 in total defense. Bearcats also allowed only 4.5 yards per play to opponents, which was the 4th fewest in the nation at the time. Cincinnati had the nation's best pass defense, finishing number 1 in the country in pass efficiency at 103.37 rating. Number 2 in passing yards allowed at 169.2 yards per game. Number 3 in interceptions. Number 4 in opponent completion percentage, abysmal, 54%. Cincinnati also had 39 sacks, which ranked number 2 in the AAC and number 18 in the country. That's just a little bit about the defenses of Cincinnati under Mike Tressel. Minnie, back to you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. So yeah, this guy knows defense. I mean, he can work with very little, let's just say. But Tony White, on the other hand, also knows defense, and his
knows about working with very little.
His defense still ranks 25th nationally. So how do you like that? You like them apples?
Another stat that I saw from Wisconsin is offensively, they are 0-4 against top 50 defenses that they played. So
good stat.
We are still a top 50 defense, as you just pointed out. The one thing that concerns me on this is the fact that if you want to get right, you play Nebraska, and we defy every statistical and law of the universe. We are just one big walking anomaly.
Not this week. Haas.
I would love to see us be consistent.
Not this week, Haas.
I don't want us to be consistent. I would like us to be inconsistent and break the anomaly.
Oh, that's right, because we've been bad for the last month.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Haas, here's what we're going to do. Okay? If you are a backwards hat wearer, you turn your hat forwards. If you're a forwards hat wearer, you turn your hat backwards. That's what we're doing. We're going to do opposites until Saturday, till we win. Okay? Flip it. Flip.
I can't. It's going to block my face on screen.
Oh, come on. Are you really that vain, Haas?
Oh, Carly Simon wrote that song about me. Nice hat.
Okay. Oh, here he goes. He doesn't even wear hats.
Nice. So here's the thing. This fitted hat is more, I think it's more suited for backwards.
There you go. How do you do, fellow kids?
How do you do, fellow young people? And if that doesn't work, then I got this sweet hat right here. It's a little old school.
Sweet.
Oh, that hat looks familiar.
Yeah. I showed up in my mailbox one day. Got here before the shirts.
I bought that hat the day of Matt Rhule's first home game when I was down in Lincoln.
Oh, nice.
Because I wore it once. I was like, nope, don't like it. I'm very particular about my hats.
I love the leftovers, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sloppy seconds.
Vince says, wear your underwear inside out and backwards.
That's right.
That's going to be difficult for me.
Why? Are you wearing a thong?
I don't wear any underwear.
Oh, jeez. That's disgusting. It's so gross. Why would you say that out loud?
A, nobody believes it. All right. 2,
okay,
for entertainment purposes. Marianne Roberts is on the right track. If you've been a Husker fan all your life, or maybe not, maybe you got on the bandwagon at a terrible time for Nebraska football, like me and Minnie and Haas, just keep praying. Just keep praying. It's like the blue fish in Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Dory. Instead of just keep swimming, just keep praying. Just keep praying. That's all you got to do.
All right. So, Haas, you asked for it.
What'd I do?
Are you ready?
Yep.
Put this one back on.
Oh, no. Here it comes.
You ain't. Just be ready.
Okay. Tonight is a special Five Heart Theater.
Shit, it has an introduction.
Because
what
Haas is here.
Yes.
All right. Haas, just so you know, I almost wrote in a part for you. I didn't know if you were going to be here the whole way. And Greg was supposed to pitch it to you. But
hey, Hoss, do you want to be part of the 5-Heart Theater?
I'm just here in an observery role.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Here goes. Ready?
Jesus. This is going to be so bad. Just wait, Hoss. Just wait.
No, this just feels weird to have the hat not backwards. Can't
There
do
are
it.
props. Fred says, is this the 5-Heart Theater where Dylan and Gary Coleman go to that shady bicycle shop? No. Brasco Rascal says, Minnie's hubby is Dylan too. Pit Snipe says a word that I can't repeat.
GD it.
And Carl Penn says, 5-Heart Podcast brought to you by Fruit of the Loom. And apparently, if it's going to take this damn long for her to get into costume and makeup, then we need a longer intro.
Yeah. You were the first person.
Costume change.
No.
What?
You're the first person.
I understand, but it's only like one line of dialogue.
Is that Milt Tennifer, the ghost of Milt Tennifer?
Okay. You can be here, but you have to be quiet.
Shit. Did you know that you were going to be directed and you're not even in the skit?
No. This is,
All right.
yeah, no.
All right. Sorry, if I got to be Luke Fickle, I can't be wearing a Nebraska hat.
Who's Minnie supposed to be?
Dana Holgorsen.
He doesn't have that much of a beard.
I trimmed it earlier.
I mean, like, you could have just pulled your hat back and it would look like the skullet, with your hair back, with the hat. Like the
Falling,
Okay.
Husker Chuck's falling out of the chair. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, Ryan Day.
All right, let's get into this. Yes, I fired our OC Phil Longo. With only 2 games left, I figure what difference does it make?
Wow. That's a bold move, Fickle. I just took over as OC at Nebraska. Who do you have calling your plays at Wisconsin?
Why does it matter? I don't think it really is important as to who's calling plays.
Hot dang. In my 32 years of coaching, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen Coach Leach compare players that aren't catching the ball to those dinosaurs who went extinct because their arms shrank since they didn't use them. I've seen this league say it was against the rules to pay players and take away trophies because of it, only to change the rules later and return the trophy. But I ain't never seen a team coached without someone calling plays.
Well, I have calling experience. That one time in grade school, I was told to sit on the bench, but I asked our coach if I could run and tell the QB what the call was going to be. I called plays then. Screen pass. Go. Blue 42.
I don't know what December is going to look like. I don't know what January is going to look like. We shouldn't care.
That's right. All I'm focused on is Nebraska. The Badgers are coming to Lincoln this weekend to fight for our 6th win. I'm an asshole. I'm Luke Fickle.
All we care about is what we need to do to beat Wisconsin. We were close last week, and I think I have found some young kid to help us win. But I can't say who. Just like to keep you guessing.
What are we doing? Our lives. Oh my God.
You were supposed to be Matt Rhule, us.
Oh. Okay.
You didn't have a speaking part this week, but play your cards right next week, champ. We can.
I feel like Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday. I don't know what to say, really.
That's fine.
I love how you sounded like you were from like North Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Greg. Like, yeah.
That was completely by accident. I
Okay.
I think every week I give the same voice no matter who I'm supposed to be pretending to be.
He doesn't get into character
I wish
much.
you played Minnesota so you could be PJ Fleck.
Me too.
Ooh. I feel like you'd have to play that part with a permanent stick up your ass.
Give us your best PJ Fleck impersonation, Greg.
Oh.
You know how long it's been since I heard PJ Fleck speak?
Give it the old college try.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
T-Rex arms, Hoss, we're in hell right now.
Mm-hmm.
Pacino can just say, hoo-ah.
Greatest movie of all time.
What would PJ Fleck say if he were here right now?
You know, it's kind of like row the boat, elite, ski-uma.
I'm thinking, you right there, I have 100 Fleck bucks for you. I don't know if that's something.
You got like this North Florida panhandle thing going on with your voice when you try to do your impersonations.
Sorry.
Does he? A panhandle?
No, I just wanted to quote The Office.
Okay, so can you do what impersonations do you do? Since you're like the biggest critic on this show.
Oh, I'm just here for quality
control. Huh?
I'm just here for quality control.
As soon as you start to admit to some type of little skill, you're going to be drafted into service, whether you like it.
I mean, I can do I don't know what to say, really. Al Pacino.
That's good.
Oh,
wow.
That was good. That was really good. Look at you.
By the way, I love the fact that people think that the coronation comment came from John. That was me. I'm the one who doesn't know where I went wrong with my life. So,
John doesn't even know we do the 5 Heart Theater. We're not going to tell him.
I think John would probably shut us down. He'd be like the John Taffer bar rest.
But he doesn't know what hurt him.
Awesome. I have other glasses for the show. I don't know if you're aware.
How many glasses do you have?
So you've seen the light up glasses. You see my glasses because my contacts aren't in yet.
You look like you deal cocaine in Carbondale, Illinois.
You should show him your wig. Wig too.
You know what? That'd be. This has gone on long enough. We got to get predictions for people. We got starred comments to get to. I'm going to start with the starred comments. Now's a great time, everybody, to throw your predictions into the comments. We'll get them all. Let's see. We've addressed that one. Oh, living in Omaha, David Matney. By the way, the official realtor of the 5 Heart podcast, that got overlooked earlier when I was driving home in frenzy, says, I got a $10 super chat to see Hoss play a role in 5 Heart Theater. Well, you got to save money tonight, David, and
you guys just have to write in an Al Pacino role.
Carl Pence says that 10 and 12 in your first 22 games is a dumpster fire.
A little late to the party on that one, Greg.
Which one?
10 and 22.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going through the starred comments.
Oh, my apologies, sir.
That's okay. BFOTS Josh Hansen says, does anyone else kind of feel like Rhule may have found his Charlie McBride and Dana Holgorsen? Guy who can come in and be bad cop and whip everyone's ass when it's needed.
Showed up to do 2 things. Call plays, 3 things. Call plays, drink beer, kick some ass.
I thought you were going to say call plays, drink beer, and chew bubble gum, and he's all out of gum.
Hey, strikes me as more of a Copenhagen. No, not Copenhagen. Red Man, which is now known as America's Best. I bet he's that's what
it's not called Red Man anymore.
No, they changed it.
That was my grandpa's go-to.
That was my high school defensive coordinator's favorite.
It's probably your high school favorite too.
No, I didn't. I've never tried Red Man. I didn't start dipping until I was 24, Greg.
All right. Well, I'm glad you stopped.
Yeah. 24 to 32.
That's how you're going to qualify for those ultra premium non-tobacco rates, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Fred says secondaries beat up, yes, but the random inability to stop the run and the linebackers all getting walled off or out of position is maddening.
Hoping if Wisconsin does bust out the counter play that USC gashed us with, hoping they're not able to execute it at quite the high level.
Indeed. That's for very select portion of the audience there. Londell said at 9:33, whatever Minnie is smoking, I want some.
Londell.
I think you were talking about Dylan or something.
Winning. I just have a winning mentality. I'm sorry. Okay.
Todd agreed 100% with you, Haas, on the BS with the roster limit.
It's going to kill the sport.
And Joe Laleka says, if Coleman can't get onto the field now, what chance will he have with upcoming wide receiver talent next year? I think that's I don't want to go, rehash necessarily or relitigate the Malachi Coleman. We don't know. It's all obviously only just
bark twice if you're in Milwaukee, Greg.
Why does he keep disappearing from us? That is so weird and random.
I'm not happy about it either.
Okay, he's there, but in no image. Just a voice.
It's probably best this way.
Okay. Put your glasses on. Are you actually trying to tell us that you're in trouble? Do you need help? Have one of the twins taken you hostage? He's here, but he can't talk. Okay.
Apparently, I have a very sensitive USB port, so I apologize. No, what I was saying was, again, at this point, the Malachi Coleman situation is purely speculation because nothing's been confirmed. And I'm not to say I'm not going to believe anything until I hear or
Rhule
see Malachi
did say,
Coleman.
no, Rhule was asked today. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
He was asked today in the press conference. Can he speak on that? And his response was, for the first time, he wouldn't give us anything. He said, I think it's disrespectful to our team, our seniors who are getting ready to have their last game, and our team who's getting ready to play in Wisconsin to even talk about this. By saying that, unfortunately, he's kind of saying that.
Okay, that's fine. To each their own. Blaine Cole said at 10:04, Greg, do me a favor and stay out of Japan.
Okay.
I didn't have that on my travel destinations, but noted. I've never been asked to stay out of a country before, at least not publicly. I'm sure there are a lot of countries that don't really want me around, but they just haven't asked. So, Diamond Dave says, I was at the Nebraska-Arizona State 77-28 game.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like a
That
party.
sounds like a fun game. I've never asked him this. Diamond Dave is the other half of Mini Hunt.
I was going to say the other half of Diamond Mini. I don't know.
So I'm just curious because I'm sure you guys have been to some blowouts like that. Does it get old? How do you feel? Like, do you stay for the entire game, or?
I don't even know the last blowout I've been to. That's how long it's been.
I think for me, it was when I was actually working in broadcast radio and I was calling football for the Shattering Cardinals. And I mean, I had to stay because, but it was always exciting. I remember, I think we won like 70-13 over Mitchell, Nebraska, one year. It was a good time. It was a party. Very fun atmosphere. All the young kids, freshmen and sophomores, got to get into plays. Good.
Okay.
Let's see. Marcus Rystrom says, I'm ready to be hurt again. I've convinced myself that somehow we're going to win a game.
Son of a bitch, I'm right there with you. I'm going to text Greg tomorrow going, what if we roll? What if we roll tomorrow? What if we score half 100?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love this. He's so sensitive. His USB is so sensitive.
Nuts. All right, hold on. We're gonna do this shit. I'm tired. I've said this after Saturday's game. This season, and I'm not trying to draw too many unnecessary comparisons, but this season feels a little like Mike Riley's first year. The ball just didn't bounce our way.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Well, I think the ball bounced our way more that year than this year.
Well, I go back to like the season opening loss to BYU, which ended on a Hail Mary that BYU won in walk-off fashion. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that this is a season where things just have not gone our way. But
All right, let's take some of these score predictions, Greg.
Okay.
You just totally moved positions.
I'm dealing with this camera situation.
You're on your phone.
No, I'm on my laptop. I'm just dealing with the camera situation. All right.
Can we see what's going on in that direction? Yeah. Just for old time's sake.
People like the boob lights.
Huss.
Yeah.
Do you have any boob lights in your place?
No.
Nice.
Are you sure?
I'm sitting opposite from my lamp, my floor lamp.
No boob lights.
Actually, I have one in the hall way over there.
I knew it. You seem like a guy that would have a boob light.
I mean, they came with the house, so
came with the play.
All right. Kaylee Bartle says, if Dylan were to ever transfer, this is in the context, Monday Night Therapy White Claw edition is what that would be. Living in Omaha, David Matney says this Saturday is the bowl eligibility bowl and
Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Bowl eligibility bowl.
Another Oscar-winning Five Heart Theater. A $10 super chat from Mr. Matney. By the way,
thanks, Dad.
Let's fix that. All of the screenwriting and script writing is it's all this person's credit and or blame, depending on how you want to put that. And Fred made good on his promise. He matched Mr. Matney's $10, pissing that money away for the next Five Heart. I know what you said, Fred. I'm saying Five Heart Theater.
Five Hard.
It's not sponsored by Blue Chew yet. So all right. Those are that. Okay. We have, holy shit, 76 unread comments since I flipped over. All right.
Yeah, no.
No, we're not. No, unread, not starred. All right. So here we have Carl Pence says 24-17 Wicked Wincy. Wincy, Wisconsin. I've never heard it called Wincy before. Okay. You're forgiven, Carl, because you've worked yourself into being a regular, Carl, so you're forgiven. Mr. Keene says 31-14 Badgers, sadly.
Man, you guys, they're hard to win over.
I don't think we'll get blown out, and I don't think we'll blow anybody out.
Melissa says 17-10 Huskers.
Okay.
And Josh is funny. Josh says, too. He says it could be 12-6 or it could be 28-10. Both Huskers. Just depends on which Nebraska team shows up, I think. Justin Raji says Huskers 24, Whiskey 13.
Okay.
It's not bad. And Mr. Roger Moore says 21-20 Wisconsin. Why believe anything has changed now? Well, because you got to believe, man. It's like in Rudy, they say dreams are what make life tolerable. And in Shawshank Redemption, hope is a good thing, perhaps the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. So you have to believe. Nebraska T-Bones says 23-6. Nebraska topples the Badgers.
Okay.
The Zero says 28-24 Whiskey. Time to guess different. Oh, because he's traditionally picked Nebraska and hasn't gone our way.
Oh, because I said everybody should do the backwards of. Good
Apparently.
idea. I like this. Okay, good. You don't really mean it, but you're doing it just because it helps.
All right, Greg,
Oh,
what's your prediction?
Kaylee Bartle says 23-17 bathroom video. That means a loss. That means that John's in the bathroom and not outside by a tree.
All right, Greg.
Why do I got to go first? Oh, Braska Rascal says Huskers 21-20.
And Greg says Nebraska 6, Wisconsin 4.
I would say Nebraska 6, Wisconsin 2, but Grow the Farm Up says 8-10 Nebraska loses on last play.
You fucked up.
All right.
And I say, well, let's remind everybody. John predicted at the beginning of the season a win. Jake predicted and didn't alert us of any change, a 27-23 Nebraska win. Haas, you've already said on this show a 15-13 Nebraska win because it's going to be something weird.
Yep.
I'm on the record from Sunday night. I say Nebraska 20, Wisconsin 13. And that just leaves Minnie Ann. And you know what, Tiger Shark Diver? I do it all for the nookie.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Nebraska 21 and Wisconsin 13.
So 1 point difference for me, Miss Price is right.
$1.
Did I?
I said 2013. You said 21-13.
Oh.
By the way, I'll say this. John did have a bold prediction, hot take at the beginning of the season in regards to next week's prediction for Iowa, Nebraska. While I don't want to give away what he said as far as how he thought the game went, he said whoever wins goes to the Big Ten championship game. And I don't think not Nebraska or Iowa are in a position to go to the Big Ten championship games.
No.
Fred Sacco says Nebraska 17, Wisconsin 10. Heinrich Harbor goes for 150 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Dylan on the clipboard. Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
I like it.
Love it. Did we miss anybody's?
Did Josh give his?
35-17.
Oh, I should have known that.
No, he said 12-6 or 28.
Oh, that's right.
Do you honestly remember everything?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty well.
No.
Eidetic memory, Minnie.
What about Pitt?
That is insane.
What about this Indiana-Ohio State game?
I want Indiana. Let me rephrase this. I think Indiana can win that. I also want Ohio State just to kick their ass to remind them, hey, you're Indiana.
I kind of want Indiana to win because I'm kind of tired of Ohio State.
We know you're a big Kurt Signetti guy. We know that you like to wear the windbreaker just like him.
Well, he says Google him, and I say Greggle me.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Minnie, to answer your question about remembering stuff, I remember stuff like that, and then I can't remember when Katie tells me that she has to work late.
Yeah.
So it's all about balance.
Selective memory?
Oh, yeah, and hearing.
Colby's coming in late, firing some shots. Holgorsen being more effective with Harburg than Raiola is a ridiculous take. It says the people that want Raiola benched have absolutely zero idea what they're asking for.
Hell yes.
I knew you would appreciate that.
And on that note, Greg, how do you feel about us calling it tonight?
Well, we did start the show late. We might as well end the show early. 11:10 being early.
Okay.
Haas, you good? Any final thoughts?
Free country, ain't it? That's all I have to say.
Minnie, any final thoughts?
Please come back, Haas. I have a role just for you.
Oh, God.
As long as it's not the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Which, again, is our next show. We'll be live next Wednesday, not Thursday. We'll be doing turkey before turkey. And yes, that does mean have your shot of wild turkey celebration, regardless of what happens on Saturday. We celebrate with turkey before turkey next Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Central, right here on Coordinations, YouTube, Facebook, and since I wasn't here at the beginning of the show, X. So for our honored guest, and it's so great to see him and catch up with him, catch all of his thoughts, Mr. Haas Reuter. For co-host Minnie Hunt, I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the Five Heart Podcast. We remind you each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
Go Big Red and beat Wisconsin.
Haas.
F Wisconsin.
Yeah! Fuck yeah! Come on!